Eclipses aren't here to shake your life apart. They're here to close what's already complete. If eclipse seasons feel emotional, disorienting, or clarifying all at once, that's not chaos. That's recalibration as only the universe can do it. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, we are thankfully not within eclipse season, and we won't be for a couple of months. But being forewarned is definitely being forearmed. So that is the purpose of this video. Now, everyone seems to get up in arms when it comes to eclipses, and with good reason. They can be chaotic, there can be a lot of surprises. I know the universe has definitely snatched my edges a couple of times with the eclipses over the past couple of years. However, all of that aside, eclipses are a beautiful, even if chaotic, way of resetting and realigning. And the best part is, you typically don't have to do much. So, in this video, I will be talking about how eclipse energy can help release, reset, and realign. So, if you want to know more, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. So, welcome to day 27 of our 31-day wellness and astrology series. And today, we're talking about eclipse energy, specifically what eclipses actually do. Now, again, we're not in eclipse season, but this is great information to have because eclipses are the universe's way of giving us a reset. And like I said before, we typically don't have to do much. And I know that sounds perhaps a little counterintuitive because there's so much typically going on during eclipses, but it is one of the very few times during the year when we get to relinquish control. And that's a big deal. That's an actual thing. So in astrology, eclipses mark endings, resets, realignments, turning points, and closures. Eclipses don't create change from nothing. They accelerate changes that are already underway. It's like the universe kind of works with what you've currently got going on and what's currently in the mix, and then resets accordingly. Eclipses reveal what no longer fits and redirects energy where it's needed next. The one thing that is always important to understand about eclipses is that it's always meant to put you on the right track. Oftentimes we get derailed, we get distracted, there's too many obstacles in our pathway. And eclipses are, again, the universe's way of recalibrating and sort of moving things around so that we can get back on track. Super important, again, if not chaotic. So let's briefly discuss why eclipses feel so intense anyway. Eclipses affect wellness because they activate the emotional body. They definitely disrupt routines. They shift identity or direction, and or they bring clarity through contrast. It's the disrupt routines that always gets me during eclipse seasons. And it's like, I feel like I'm always on guard because I'm like bracing myself for something. And so often I feel like I get to the very tail end of eclipse season and I'm like, yes, nothing happened. And then all of a sudden something huge typically transpires. And I'm like, wow, the universe really knows what it's doing, even if it feels crazy, right? But the whole point is that this change, this redirection, this clarity, this shift in identity, even, oftentimes, as much as we want these things to happen, it's like the universe is kind of better equipped to facilitate them. And that's how I like to look at eclipses. It's not to say that your efforts are useless or that they don't affect any change. But when the universe sees where you're going, where you're headed, where you're trying to go, and lends a helping hand, it's typically in a way that's super profound, right? And again, in a way that only the universe can do it. The nervous system feels eclipses as emotional release, sudden clarity, fatigue, sensitivity, or even the urge to let go. This isn't a breakdown, more likely a breakthrough. And its integration happening quickly. That's the other thing about eclipse season. I feel like the things that typically transpire can be surprising, or they open or shut a door extremely quickly. And again, it speaks to the power of the universe in facilitating change in our lives, right? Something that could have taken us 2 months can take the universe 2 days or even 2 minutes. And the other sort of component of that is a breakthrough. It reminds me of being like in a mine, right? And you've got your pickaxe and you just keep, picking away at the rock and everything like that. And it's like, as much as you are affecting change with that pickaxe, the universe comes in with a stick of dynamite, blows everything to pieces. And now you see all of the jewels and all of the diamonds, right? Like that's actually a really good analogy with respect to how the universe works during eclipses. But in terms of wellness, right? Again, eclipses help us get on the right track. And that's the fundamental thing to remember here. It's because we can get stuck in the chaotic nature of it all. We can get stuck in the endings that are not only surprising, but hurt, right? We can get stuck in the fear of this new door that suddenly opened that we have to walk through, not realizing that everything that is transpiring for our good. By way of a personal story, a couple of years ago, the eclipses were in Taurus and Scorpio. And Taurus is my first house, Scorpio is my seventh house. And I was going through a particularly difficult relationship. Now, if I had paid attention to the signs, everything had been pointing to the fact that this relationship wasn't for me. But I was holding on for dear life. I wanted to resuscitate it. I wanted to do all the things. An eclipse season comes and I see a post of this person who I thought I wanted to spend the rest of my life with somebody else, right during eclipse season. And when I tell you, it was like I was shot through the heart. It was quick, it was sudden, but the clarity that came from that, the message, okay, this is not for you. And of course that hurts, but it freed up so much space. It freed up so much energy to pursue what was for me instead of staying stuck in a situation that didn't suit me at all and that I was not aligned with. That's wellness, right? And we typically think of wellness as eating well, meditating, doing our shadow work and all of that. Wellness is alignment. And again, eclipses help facilitate that in the best possible way. In the spirit of sharing, and if you've gotten this far into the video, comment down below of what you've experienced during eclipse seasons. Have you experienced sudden endings, sudden beginnings, things that hurt, things that scared or excited you? Let me know in the comments below. So now let's get into how eclipses show up. So I gave you a very personal example, from my life, but here are some other ways that eclipse energy can show up in your life in order to help you get into alignment. So eclipse energy often brings realizations that you can't unsee. It's like a neon sign and your eyes are just so open they can't be closed. You can't help but see this thing. And so therefore you cannot ignore what the universe is trying to show you. Endings that feel bittersweet. Now, sometimes they don't feel bittersweet, they just feel bitter. However, sometimes there's a sense of relief because what you couldn't perhaps end on your own, the universe ended for you, which is a blessing in disguise. Sudden emotional truth. There have been several eclipses that I can personally attest to where I've gotten so clear on how I felt. And when I say clear, I mean like laser-like clear. Like, wow, there's no ambiguity. There's no doubt here. Closure without full explanation. And this is the one that can be very frustrating because oftentimes, the universe isn't always going to sit you down and explain things before they happen. Things happen, and then as you evolve, you sort of understand why they happened. So typically, you can have a door that is shut in your face during eclipse season, and you have no idea why. You're sad, you're angry, you're frustrated. But then as time goes by, you start to understand why that door had to close and perhaps why it had to close the way that it did. So although it's frustrating, it's definitely part of the process. And perhaps redirection without force. Sometimes I feel like the universe during eclipse season can kind of give you like an alley-oop and can just give you a situation that doesn't require any effort, doesn't require a whole bunch of doing the most or a whole bunch of, hard work. It's just like, boop, you're just redirected gently, softly. It can be really beautiful. Now, the thing with eclipses is that whatever transpires, you likely may not feel ready for it. And that's definitely a thing. However, the system is. It's like everything's put into place and you're kind of the last piece of the puzzle to be moved or to be added, right? And that's why eclipses can feel so unnerving because you're not ready. You're afraid. You're excited. You're frustrated. But everything is sort of set up for you, whether you realize it or not, okay? Eclipses don't ask for understanding, they ask for trust. I'm going to repeat that again. Eclipses don't ask for understanding, they ask for trust. This isn't the time where the universe is going to hold your hand and say, all right, sweetheart, this is what's happening. This is why it's happening. No, the universe is like, I got to move things around. I got to close this. All the while keeping your desires, keeping your alignment front and center. You can't see it yet, but the universe does. And so the universe is like, listen, I know this looks crazy. I know this feels crazy. I know this is really surprising, but just go with it. Trust me, it'll be fine later on. That's exactly how eclipses function. And when you can understand that and ride the wave. Now, by riding the wave, I mean anticipating the unexpected, rolling with the punches, not necessarily getting stuck in the emotion that you feel in the moment, because that's how you stay derailed. Real talk. For you to sit in the fear, to sit in the frustration, to keep ruminating on why this happened, and I don't like that it happened, and I want things to go back to the way that they were, that is a surefire way to continue to stay derailed. Because everything about eclipse energy is about moving you, moving the situation along, changing the situation, shifting identity, shifting outcomes. Yet if you're just like, I want to stay here, I don't want to let this go, I have a death grip on it, I don't want to change, I don't want to walk through the door, you will stay derailed and the pain will only last longer. The pain that I felt when I saw who I thought was the love of my life with someone else lasted a mere second. And when I finally came to my senses, I was like, yeah, this person wasn't for me anyway. I was holding on to them for a myriad of reasons that don't serve me. And yes, it takes a little while to get to that realization, but if I were to stay stuck in the fact that, oh my God, there was someone else and this sucks and I'm never going to have anyone, yeah, I wouldn't have progressed. So I'm here to tell you that the pain is temporary. The surprise is temporary. The frustration, the fear, it's temporary. You don't need to understand in the moment. You don't need understanding in the moment. You just need to trust the universe. And speaking of trust, let's talk about what happens when you don't trust the universe and when you resist eclipse energy. When we resist whatever the universe is trying to do for us during eclipse season and during eclipses generally, emotions intensify. That pain, that frustration, that fear, they become 10 times harder, 10 times more intense. Exhaustion deepens. And this exhaustion comes from holding on too tightly. What you resist persists. And if you're resisting where the universe is taking you, the need to fight, the need to hold on persists even more. And that can lead to extreme exhaustion. anxiety increases. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. With everything that's going on and everything that feels so chaotic, your anxiety is at an all-time high. And or clarity feels threatening. The aha moment that the universe is giving you, you don't trust it. You fear it. You doubt it. And it just becomes threatening. It becomes something negative rather than something beneficial to help you get into alignment. Trying to control eclipse energy only adds friction, and friction does not feel good. Remember, eclipses don't respond to force. They respond to release. If you've watched any of my eclipse videos over the years, the one thing I'm almost famous for saying right now is that this is a time where you don't have to do anything. Even when it comes to manifesting, particularly like when we're talking about a solar eclipse, right? You don't even need to do that. You literally just need to throw your hands up and say, universe, you got it. You're driving, you've got the wheel. I am just going to be a passenger princess right now. And that's the beauty of it. Is the universe driving at 200 miles per hour and there are no seatbelts in the car? Absolutely. Do you fear for your life? Very much so. However, what transpires is unmatched. Never forget that. So now let's get into a little wellness ritual for eclipse season, all right? It's a little eclipse-aligned self-care. Now, again, at the time of this recording, we are not in eclipse season, but definitely visit this video again come the spring and or the fall, and definitely use this little practice, all right? So step number 1, rest more than usual. Apart from rest, hydrate. You're not driving the car, you're not doing the things, but you need your body to be in a place of receptivity. So rest and hydration are key during eclipse seasons. Step number 2, avoid forcing decisions. If something's not working, let it go. Okay? Rather than trying to open a door that's closed, allow the universe to do it. So avoid forcing decisions or anything for that matter. Step number 3, let emotions pass without interpretation. Feel how you're feeling and just observe it. You're scared? Cool. Don't look into it too much. You're excited? All right, great. Don't let it derail you. Feel what you're feeling without judgment, without guilt, without shame. Just merely observe. Step number 4, release expectations of clarity. This is an important one because if this isn't your first rodeo and you're used to eclipse season and you're waiting for the clarity, you're waiting for that aha moment, the universe could really trip you up because eclipse energy can also be a slow burn. While there may be things that happen when the eclipse is literally physically happening, a lot of what transpires may take weeks or even months. So if you're sitting there in anticipation for the clarity, the universe is like, you've kind of lost the plot. So don't expect the most. Don't expect these aha moments. Just expect the unexpected. And finally, and as with any wellness practice, if you've noticed over this series, ground the body always. Make sure that you're present within your body through meditation, through grounding practices, but ground the body always, okay? Eclipse healing happens through allowing, not managing. And so if you can prep your emotions and your physical body for allowing and receptivity, it will make eclipse season that much easier. One of the things that I want to help you understand about eclipse energy is that it can help you reframe endings. Now, what I mean by that is sort of taking a different vantage point when it comes to endings. In the example, the personal example I gave before about how essentially what I experienced during that eclipse season was a door shutting in my face. And if that wasn't an ending, I don't know what is. And it's important to understand that during eclipse seasons, endings don't always arrive with explanation. Like I said, it's the universe isn't holding your hand and saying, all right, babe, this is what's happening and this is why it's happening. Oftentimes, clarity comes later, after the body has adjusted, after the dust has settled, after the pieces have been moved, and you start to understand the bigger reason why this ending occurred. Eclipses remind us that not everything needs closure to be complete, especially in the realm of relationships. We always want closure. We always want some kind of ending conversation that gives us peace of mind. When, if I'm being honest, I think those quote unquote closure conversations are really just an opportunity to try to get back together again. But that's just my opinion. You don't always get explanations. You don't always get closure. But somehow, some way, the universe will always give it to you in some way, shape, or form. Okay, some chapters close so energy can move again, so you can be redirected. Right? This goes back to what I was saying before about what eclipses do for wellness. They shift identity or direction. That's what they're here for. And yes, in a very chaotic way, but that's how the universe works. And when you learn how to work with the universe undoubtedly works with you. All right, my loves, that's pretty much all I've got for you for this video today on eclipse energy and resetting and wellness. All right, I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this next eclipse season. All right, if you're interested in getting a natal chart reading with me, it's not a natal chart reading, it's a natal chart experience. The information for that is in the description box below, so check that out. If you haven't taken my self-care signature quiz, what are you doing, babes? It's such a cute, fun little quiz. It helps you understand your self-care signature a little better. So if you're interested in that, the link to that is also in the description box below. All right, my loves, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.